And then she was like, oh, I'm so happy for you. You're so lucky. Some people have it the whole pregnancy. And I was like, you say?
What? You have it for a whole 9 months? And you will not eat? You will be puking, for 9 months? I can't even imagine that.
I had praise songs that goes in my head.
Praise songs.
So that kept me going a little bit.
It feels like now they had a better treatment course for your second pregnancy.
You can't be awake. You literally are. You're going. I could feel my mother praying from her stomach.
At some point, wouldn't you feel like, I miss?
You wouldn't miss it. Trust me. You have no appetite.
Wow.
Food will be disgusting. Because I remember one thing that I didn't want for this pregnancy was to look as bad as I looked for the first one. So I was like, can you call my husband to tell him to come back with my butter?
At 11 o'clock?
Yeah. They called. He was sleeping, but he picked up because his phone obviously was on ring. His wife is in the hospital. And I was like, this is what I want for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Bruh, it's like, that's the switch. Gabby's back.
It was legit like a 360.
Because we don't get a lot of education about it until you go through it. And then you're like, oh, it was different from you.
Women in general should learn to love other women enough for us to share our own story.
Educate, yeah.
Welcome to another episode of BrewingHER. It's Gabby Akimboye.
Hi, this is Kemi John.
Kemi, how far?
Welcome. How far? I like that.
How far? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm enjoying life as I should.
That's good.
Stress-free life.
You know I have beef with you, Sha.
Why? What happened?
You went to Texas without me.
My dear, I did miss you. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, because
please don't toast me.
Let's give them background. It was one of our friends' wedding, and it was in Dallas, Texas. Gabby couldn't go because a doctor ordered her not to go.
It's the ordering for me.
A doctor said it is not healthy to travel.
It's the ordering for me.
Yeah, but Dallas was
you
fun.
would have said, okay, your doctor say you shouldn't go. I will stay with you, my love.
Well, I already bought my ticket.
Imagine.
I had gotten the tickets. It was you know how I missed. It was a fun wedding, but I didn't have my people, around. But
you didn't have a person around.
Yeah, it wasn't like, let's quickly gist. It was a different vibe, but it was still fun. We still had a good time. Congratulations to y'all. I don't want to mention their names, but
I know, right?
It was a beautiful wedding, Dallas was fun.
I still have beef with you,
and I went to African restaurants. Please. Yeah, I ate some suya.
I'm not interested. I
was on my good Texas trip.
I don't want, or it's not needed. Do you guys want to hear? No, we don't.
Yo, every time we go to like Texas or like Maryland, you have to go to like African restaurants, get a suya spot.
You remember when we went to DC?
Right? I know. Yo, there's one. I think I told you. Did you guys go to Houston? Remember I told you about one Houston restaurant, KFFO?
KFFO, yes, we did.
Bruh.
I chopped suya. And then my husband's uncle now went to go and buy another set again
from another place. Like, I feel like we're suffering over here.
Yeah.
Because they have many options.
We are almost getting to depression.
Like,
send help.
Bruh, they're always having like one good spot or the other, a good African spot or the other. And we're just here still struggling with...
We have to cook it by ourselves.
Yeah, homemade food. It's okay. But
we'll survive.
It was fun. Dallas was fun. What about you? What did you do while we were in Dallas?
I was sleeping. I was watching people's story and just like...
You were living vicariously through our stories.
I was like, betrayers, bunch of betrayers.
It was a good... I wish you went, Sha. I wish you went. I think it would have been much more fun.
They betrayed me, you guys. All of them.
Yeah, Belen. Don't worry. Once you pop, we're going to go out. We're going to travel. We're going to go so many places.
We're supposed to go to Mexico this year.
Talk about betrayal. Talk about betrayal. This girl, we're legit planning Cancun. already almost done with. Okay, this is what like activities we're going to be doing. We already knew who we're going with. We had a whole plan. And then Gabby and the Akinboye family, they decided to go and show us surprise. And now Cancun is over.
Surprise.
Like I said, when you're done, we have to travel the world together.
Yeah,
like,
I want to go to
can't
Dubai,
wait.
Sha.
Please don't remind me of Dubai.
I want to go to Dubai. I definitely want to go back to Dubai. Where else do I want to go?
Dubai. Dubai is pissing me off. Yeah, I do want to go I want to Italy. Too. I want to go to Greece as well.
There's so many places.
I don't care for Paris anymore. I used to love Paris.
I still do.
But I've been hearing some like stuff about Paris, about how Paris is just so overrated. Really? And yeah.
Let me go and see for myself.
Right. I want to overrate it.
No, let me
and
see.
Then underrate it.
Surprised.
I feel like if I want to go to Paris, it would just be because in life I want to go to Eiffel Tower, but not because the city as well, like the city. Even though my sister, my younger sister, has been to Paris, and I remember I can never forget when she came back and she told us about it.
It was good.
It was great. So I don't know where people, or maybe because it's been years, maybe now Paris is now bad. I don't know. But I remember her telling us, yeah. So maybe, but you know where I really want to go? I want to go to two places actually. I want to go to Italy and I want to go to Santorini. Even though they say Santorini is overrated. Too. But like you said, I want to go and experience it for myself.
Yeah, me too.
And then come back home and say, oh, I've been. It's not that great.
Place I want to go to?
Where?
I want to go to Nigeria.
All right, on this episode...
I don't understand.
Stop! Why did you make me do that?
I don't understand.
You want to go to Nigeria? Wow.
Yeah,
I think so too.
I do. I just want to go to Nigeria. My friends in Nigeria, like, can one of you just get married so that I can have a reason?
Oh no, Nigerian weddings are dope.
So just fly to Nigeria. I want to go to Nigeria.
Do you know? Do you want to go for any of these dirty December things?
What am I looking for? What's dirty about the December?
Oh yeah, I guess you have passed that level now. Chai. I never enjoyed it though. Like really? I never did. Did you enjoy dirty December at any point?
You came to America before me.
Sadly, I was a
quite unfortunate
teenager. I did not enjoy my adult life. At least Sorry. Now I have to be hearing people say, this is how Nigeria is. Can you imagine? So annoying. Another place we should go to is Ghana.
What am I looking for there?
Zanzibar. Zanzibar, what they call it?
Of that guy that they asked him that Ghanaian artist, and he says, Shatanwale, was that his name?
What happened to him?
That is better than Burna Boy, Whiskey, Davido.
This is the guy on the streets I was talking about. Yeah. No, it wasn't Shatanwale, it was Sarkozy. I was like, this is how I was watching him. Look at this one, no. Singing of past glory. Even the past glory that they have. Who was Sarkozy? Sorry.
What are you talking about?
I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right. Sorry to all of our Ghanaian friends out there. We love you guys. But we don't really think that you guys should be on this level when we're talking.
Promise.
I actually like King Promise. I like King Promise. So Sarkozy was actually very good. But for me, I even think that King Promise is doing better than when he was, like when Sarkozy was like reigning. But whenever.
What do I know?
That's your Ghanaian. But don't you please compare Nigerian artists.
Like,
Brad, you know the list that we have, that we say we are tired of greatness in a way. Because we're like, no, everybody's great.
Keep it up.
I know, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't just have 3 people.
Yeah.
We have at least 1,000 people, please.
Yep.
And don't compare yourself to Burna Boy. Excuse you? Nah, don't do that. Okay. But let's go back to our topic of the day, not Nigeria and places to go. Okay.
So, Kemi, what is the topic for today?
Hey, so you guys remember how we did a reveal of Gabby's pregnancy journey, and she educated us on some of the good things that you are supposed to know when you're pregnant and after being pregnant when it comes to sexuality. So now we have decided to talk about Ella's personal story.
This girl likes to put me on the spot.
You guys, I feel like this episode is a very special one to me.
I pray we don't cry.
And I'm praying so. And I was going to say, and I really pray we don't get emotional about it. Because Gabby has a really, really, I don't know if I can call it, should I say interesting pregnancies, pregnancies, because it's happened twice, right? And not until I experienced your pregnancy with you, even you should know what I mean.
We went through it together.
Yeah, I never knew what that was. I didn't think it was a thing.
Me too.
And I think one of the reasons why that would have happened to us is because we don't hear a lot of people talk about, hey, this could happen to you, or this happened to me. I think another one that really shook me was, I can't remember her name now. She gave, I think I shared the video with you.
Yeah. I can't remember her name.
Anyway, we'll find her name and then insert it here. Yeah, and even probably insert the video as well, when she was talking about her pregnancy journey.
That video made me cry.
It made me cry. And that was when I learned about this RH negative. It was remember you told us about it. So I think it's something similar now to your experience as well, as to like what you went through for 2 pregnancies, because I feel like now we've gone through it with this baby as well, and you've overcome by God's grace. Thank you, Jesus.
Hallelujah. And
the things that you saw. So you guys, we're going to be talking about, I'm not even going to try and pronounce it, but I'm going to put it, we should put it here. You guys, we're going to put it, I think you should try, but wait, let me give them the way I can call it, right? And then we're going to put the name on the screen for you guys to see, and then Ella will try and pronounce it for you. So, we're going to be talking about Gabby's story about the HG pregnancy journey.
Ta-da!
I don't know if I should be doing a drum roll for that. So what is HG? As an acronym.
H is a short form for Hyperemesis Gravidarum. Don't ask me to spell it.
Yeah, they'll say it on the screen, y'all. And
if
then
I'm not pronouncing it right,
you guys can learn how to pronounce it. I don't even want to learn how to pronounce it. I just call it HG.
I have a friend, she calls it H babavum.
She's for real.
She's like, I'm not going to try. But yeah, so what do you want to know? What do you want to know?
I want to know a lot. I want to learn a lot. Do
you want me to just like say, okay, this is what happened?
Right. So I want you to firstly, don't worry, I'm going to coordinate how I'm going to ask you these questions and lead you to everything that we need to talk about today. So first of all, what is HG?
So HG is excess nausea and vomiting during pregnancy.
Wow.
When I mean excess, I don't mean like, oh, you're vomiting here and there in the mornings. No, like the whole day. You don't eat constantly.
Because pregnant women
normally
experience
morning
nausea.
Sickness, nausea,
but this is an extreme level.
This is an extreme level, yeah.
Of that experience. Okay. So first of all, Gabby, can you share a little bit of, or if everything, a little bit of your personal experience with HG during your pregnancy, during your pregnancies?
First of all, I don't pray this even for my enemy. Let's start with that. My first pregnancy, I remember when I called you and our other friend, and then I remember how I announced it to you guys. Like, I just did my belly like this.
Yeah.
And then the both of you were like,
right. It took a minute. It took a minute to get it.
Mm-hmm. So that period, I was, still enjoying the phase, because I remember my nurse called me and she was like, oh, how are you feeling? Any morning sickness? Because I thought I was like, Gucci.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm good. I'm fine. She was like, oh, okay, just let us know if anything changes. I think I jinxed it, because after that call, like a week later, I just started it started as a normal
morning sickness.
Like, I could cook and then I want to puke.
Wow.
I could sit down, I want to puke. I could drink water, I want to puke. Wow. That was how it started. And I started losing appetite for food.
Wow.
Yeah, like food started to
just like disgusting to you. Wow.
And it started as a joke. I was still taking class. Then I was still taking classes, and then it started becoming frequent to the point that my husband had to call my mom. Like, this is what's going on. We don't know what's happening.
Because I'm sure at the beginning you probably just thought this is normal pregnancy symptoms.
Yeah, because that was how it started. To the point that I even had to because then my husband wasn't home. He lived a little bit far away from.
Oh my goodness, yes, that is so true.
Yeah.
Like an hour away.
An hour away.
Yes.
So I had to go to my mom's house. And I remember there was a particular time I was at my mom's house and she was so worried. Like, okay, try and eat something. She made me custard. I was like, I don't want it.
At this point, nobody knew what was going on. Everybody just thought, oh, this is just how you're handling your pregnancy.
How I'm handling pregnancy, yeah. And then I remember she made me noodles. I took like 3 spoons and I ran to the bathroom and it was like I'm eating the whole bowl of noodles.
Wow.
With the amount of puke that came out.
Wow.
That was when my mom was like, no, this is not... This one is not normal, because you literally just had like what, three spoons and you're puking like.
And prior to that, do you remember if you had any kind of meal at all before that?
No.
So it was almost like you're puking your intestines out now.
Exactly.
There was nothing in your stomach.
There was nothing in my stomach. So that was when we called my doctor and we're like, this is
something
not normal.
Ain't right.
Something ain't right. Mm-hmm. So apparently I am my doctor's first patient with HG as well. So
to tell you how uncommon
it is.
This is.
I was her first. So they were, my doctor's office they were all trying to figure out like,
what's going on?
What can we give her? So they tried to give me some medication, but I can't keep anything down.
Wow.
In less than a month.
Even a pill that you have to swallow.
Yes, I stopped. I couldn't take my prenatal vitamins anymore. I couldn't take nothing. Absolutely nothing. I remember in a month, I lost 32 pounds.
Yeah.
In less than, that's how much I was vomiting. I literally I looked like a shadow of myself.
Yeah.
And it got so bad that I didn't cry, if you notice. Yeah. I didn't cry a lot, even though what I was going through it was more like...
I think you were more weak
to even cry.
You were very
I remember
weak.
the first time you actually came to see me at my mom's place.
Yeah.
And I was on the floor.
I was legit scared.
Yeah.
You looked like a broom. Not to insult you,
I know, trust me.
You were so skinny.
I was so skinny.
And this is a pregnant woman, you guys. In my head, all the time I've heard about pregnant women, you are choppy, you are fresh, you are glowing. Even that day you mentioned, before we left, you puked about 3 times.
Already, yeah. And I didn't eat, you were there, I didn't eat anything. So yeah, it
was a lot.
It was a lot. So when I was old or advanced enough in the pregnancy, that was when they gave me a PICC line. So
all this time too, they still didn't know what it was.
They knew what it was, but the cost of treatment was what they were trying to figure out, because there's some things...
That was one of my questions.
Yes, there's some things they cannot give me because I'm so early in the... some medications they can't give me because I'm so early in the pregnancy. So they don't want to hurt me nor the baby.
Right.
But the baby was fine.
Just chilling.
Yeah, I remember go for ultrasound and he's like tumbling.
Yes. I remember you were in the hospital, right? And I think we came and then your husband was seeing us off. And I remember, I don't know if he was talking to the doctor or maybe was gisting his friend that, he was just even scared about the baby. And he then, I said, he was surprised when the doctor said the baby is just chilling. Like, he legit said chilling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if this baby is chilling, then why is his mom going through this?
Yeah. The baby was taking every single nutrient I had left.
Yeah.
In my body. So the baby was fine. Baby was growing healthy. I remember one of the nursing assistants or nurse, one of the two that took care of me during my first pregnancy. And she said she had it twice for her 2 kids. And
so at this point, they already knew what it was.
So they knew what it was.
And now you're seeing people that also had it.
One person, yeah. At that time, it was just one person.
And this person is a medical staff.
Yes. And she told me that her kids are the most well-behaved children ever. That to her, it was more like God was compensating her for
all the stress that she had
to go through because of... And so people were like, my mom was scared. I remember there was one afternoon I was home. I can never forget that day.
You had been discharged, or is this before you went to the hospital?
I went to the hospital multiple times. I was rushed to the hospital multiple times.
Very true.
There's one of my husband's friend that literally put me on his back one day to rush me to the hospital.
Yeah, very true.
So I was rushed. I passed out many times. I was rushed in. The second pregnancy, you experienced one in the house.
I don't want us to get to that one yet.
So I remember so well. I'm trying not to cry.
Yeah.
My mom came to see me and she just saw how I was, and she literally opened my door. She saw me, she walked out, went back home, brought anointing oil, came back, and my mom was crying and praying. I didn't even have the energy to say amen. I'm trying not to cry. I didn't even have the energy to say amen.
Yeah.
It was that deep. Like, even my husband was shocked. Like, when you're praying, there's a difference between when you're just like praying, when you're praying loud, and when you're praying from your stomach. I could feel my mother praying from her stomach. You know when they say your mom naked, they say they naked to swear for somebody. So imagine that in the prayer form.
In the prayer form.
That was how my mom was legit using her hand to hit the wall. That was how, it was like, how can something with so much joy make my child go through this?
Right.
It was hard.
Yeah.
It was really hard.
It was unknown waters.
So, but before they gave me the PICC line, I remember the first time I actually
explain what a PICC line is?
So a PICC line is like an IV that they give you in your arm in the hospital, but this time around they don't put it here or your leg. It goes up here or like up here. So it's pretty long. It's like 10
inches.
I think so, if I'm correct. So it's actually
10 inches long needle.
It goes from here. My first PICC line is actually on this arm. I have all the marks of my kids on my body. So the first one was here, and it goes all the way down to like top of your heart.
So it's curved.
It's very flexible.
Wow.
Yeah. So that way they were able to send like nutrients, fat.
Because at this point you couldn't take things in your mouth. So now you had to take it through your veins, your bloodstream and all.
Because I was getting to the point where I had already lost too much weight for my health. Because the baby was still fine. My doctor was trying to make sure that I'm at least getting some form of nutrient.
Because you had lost a lot of weight.
Because I've lost a lot. A whole lot. And it was like I was dying, but alive at the same time. And do you remember the Christmas party on Christmas Day?
I don't remember what.
For the first baby, when my mom cooked and then told you guys to come over so I could spend Christmas with my friends.
Yes.
Instead of me being in the hospital for Christmas.
Yes. On your mommy's dining table.
Yep.
I remember.
But so
goodness
gracious. Before then, actually I missed a step. They had to give me a Zofran pump. So Zofran is a medication to help with nausea. So it was
because you were puking a lot. So at this point, they needed to control
the puke. But the pump didn't work. So the pump goes on my thigh. It's like a little needle where they change every 2 days. It goes to my thigh, and they'll have to like poke me literally every 2 days.
So I want us to stay there for a bit before we move on. You've talked about having a 10 inches long needle being inserted in your body. And now you've talked about this needle for Zofran every 2 days. How did you, I guess, survive?
I did.
Because it's not like you're a fan of needles like that.
I'm not.
And to think that,
I've gotten to the point where I'm not even scared of needles anymore.
Gabby is now needle resistant.
I'm like, you need to poke me. Okay, go ahead.
I think that is crazy. And I think that's when people say mothers are basically they're gods, basically, that you need to worship and adore. That's where all this comes from.
Yeah.
Because that is a lot.
It is.
That is a lot. I remember one time when we came to the hospital, one of the times you were in the hospital, and I was trying to force you to eat, basically. Because Shegun was saying, your husband was saying you could not even eat anything. And you wanted, was it Jello you wanted or something? There was that day, Shaisha wanted something that we had to go get. I can't remember. I remember. Fruit salad.
Oh, yeah. That was the first pregnancy.
Yes, for the first pregnancy. And we had to go get fruit salad for you. And you couldn't still eat fruit salad. And I was like, Gabby, eat now. No. It can't be this bad. Eat now. This girl could not. Because I think what also happened that I noticed was that even you were scared to even eat because you didn't want to puke.
Yep. Because I knew it was going to come out. I remember when my auntie too came for the first pregnancy. She came to the hospital. She couldn't take it. She was like, what nonsense is this? She literally came. She woke up very early in the morning. She prepared akara for me. She didn't put pepper. She just said, just salt, Maggi, no pepper. She brought it to the hospital. And she literally our kids were like, Mommy, you're force feeding her.
Yeah.
She was like, no, open your mouth.
Yeah. I think I can relate to your auntie in that aspect, because I think that's the way I show love as well. I want her to force feed you, because I'm like,
I know this is the second time for the second baby too. You try to force feed me oats. She was like, "Oh,
you have to eat something." Because I feel like, to me, and probably to your auntie too, it was probably from, okay, let me speak for myself alone. It was coming from a place that there has to be one thing that you can eat, at least put in your mouth. Because where are you getting the nutrients from? You know, that was, okay, now they are putting Zofran. I feel like you are now even immune to Zofran, because you've gotten to the highest dosage, and sometimes it still doesn't work.
Exactly, because I can't remember how many hours, you increase the bolus. Keep increasing, and I'll increase and increase and increase, and I'm still puking.
Right. I think
I could puke popcorn.
Yeah. Can you imagine that? Imagine you puke, even water.
Yeah.
Even water. You could not
take water.
You couldn't take anything in, right? And I think for people that didn't understand that, e.g., people like me, we couldn't understand it. Like, okay, you are becoming thinner. Because I think that was the first scary part for me.
Yeah, I was
seeing you being skinny.
Oh God,
I was like, no. Even if it's fluid, like all this glucoside, whatever, like Ribena. I was just trying to think of like things that, it was a lot.
It was.
And I sit here and I think about not just your mom, but like your husband. What he had to go through, because he's the one sleeping with you at night. We can come visit and then go back home.
Yeah.
I remember this was the second pregnancy. And we just came normally to visit. Remember,
I think I asked you guys to get me something. Was it Sprite?
Yes, Sprite. That you felt like drinking Sprite.
And that's Gabby the annoying thing. I'm craving something. First, second, I was craving things, but
once you just put it in and it goes into the digestive system and all that, it has to come out. Sprite, I remember, was what caused all this wahala.
Yeah. She
drank Sprite and you couldn't hold it in. You puked. The second time that you puked and we're coming back, that was when you fainted. Yeah. That was the height of it for me. In my head, I was like, if it was just your husband at home,
you would have to carry me.
Yeah. It would have to carry you. So kudos to Gabby's husband as well. Gabby's parents. I feel this
made us stronger.
It definitely did. It definitely shaped your marriage even better.
Yeah.
Because I know your husband, obviously, right? But like when I obviously I don't talk about it every time, like you guys probably would. But when I do, right, I come from a reflective area of, thank God you married your own husband. Because imagine if you're going through this as a pregnant woman with an insensitive man, a man that doesn't know how to care, how would you have done it? How would it have been possible? There are months that Gabby won't be able to cook, and your husband would be the one cooking. Forget cooking. He legit became a doctor.
Yeah.
Because he
was my doctor. Or he's still my doctor. He's
still your doctor.
Because we haven't said the other part.
Yeah. You're right. We've not talked about the other side of things. But I know that he legit administer injections.
And
medications for you. He even knows what time you need to take your injections. Because we need to talk about why you are even still taking injections now and all that. But I see him from that aspect, and it makes me like him more. Because at the end of the day, even though, that's his wife, what else should he do? But at the end of the day, I still see you as my friend that was belebe and single and all that. And now it's like, you are, it's like now you are with a man that I know takes care of. We don't need to care. We don't need to bother. You don't need to, the joy that you're not afraid of your friend's life with this man. I don't know if that makes sense. I might not be explaining it right.
No, I actually do. When it comes to that, I actually do understand. Like, I know a friend now, like she's dating somebody, and in my mind, I'm like,
you're not sure.
Yeah, I have this fear. Yeah, so I actually do. Especially if it's somebody you care about too.
Exactly.
Somebody you care about. So.
Exactly. That is crazy. this is one question, and you've
and you know what's funny? You've
so
always
deeply.
she has always wanted me to talk about this part of my story, and I'm always like, no, next time. I always look for a way to bring up another topic and like, oh, let's talk about this one.
Yeah, and now that it's here, it's like,
why did I bring this up?
Honestly, okay. So, how did your HG? How did it affect your daily life and overall well-being? How, like, what are the impacts that it had on you?
Is it before pregnancy or after?
During
pregnancy and after. So even before this second one, because I'm pretty sure it might have affected your mindset as to even trying to become pregnant again. Yeah, I will speak about after the first pregnancy into this one.
Well, can you talk about during that first pregnancy?
During the first pregnancy, it literally made me regret being pregnant.
Wow.
To be honest, I've actually, I don't think I've ever told my husband this, but it actually did. I was like, why did I do this?
I remember there was a time, I think it was that same hospital time, that you said it, like, they should just take it away.
Yeah.
And we're like, God forbid. But hearing you say this now, it's like, oh, wow, maybe she wasn't just joking.
I wasn't at that point. And for the first pregnancy, there was one time I stood up to pee. I remember there was one of my friend and her boyfriend were with me, and I was like, oh, I needed to pee. She's a nurse. And she was like, oh, let me take, because I had all my Zofran pump and everything. And she was like, oh, let me take you to the bathroom. And then I got to the bathroom, I peed, and then I wanted to wash my hands, and I looked at the mirror. Babe, I literally did not recognize myself. Wow. And that was when I think that was the first time that I actually cried out the pain. Because to me, I know, like, my husband's, my friends, my parents were going through. So I'm that kind of person that would try to, like, hold myself. As my first kid, I'm a first child. I carry everybody. I try to hold. But I looked at myself in the mirror that day, and I just bust down. Like, I cried to the floor. I remember my friend was on the floor with me, with her boyfriend. And my husband wanted to come in. I was like, I don't want to see him. Because I didn't want him to see me break down like that, if that makes sense. And I literally was like, in my mind, like, why? What was this for? Like, what was the end goal? At that point, I started asking myself, so what's the end goal? Why am I doing this? Like, everybody else is happy they're pregnant. And me, I'm sad that I'm pregnant. So I feel it did affect me a lot mentally, especially with the fact that, when they say, oh, pregnant, you enjoy your pregnancy, that period, I didn't see the use. I didn't see the end goal. I didn't see the finish line, because we didn't know when this was going to end. And I feel like when it ended, that was when I actually started, enjoying my pregnancy a little bit. Right. I started seeing the positive side of it, but I knew at the back of my mind I didn't want to do this again.
Wow. Even at that point?
At that point, yeah. Because I look at my hand and I see the scar, and I was like, I don't think I want to go through this again. But deep down, I want 3 kids. So I was like, what am I going to do? So yeah, during the pregnancy, it affected me a lot. Sometimes I don't want to see people, and I feel like the people that were there for me during the first pregnancy were people that even now, some of them I don't talk to, but it took me time to let go.
Right, because I don't want to say because. Tell us why.
But because of the role they played during that period, it's really, 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 really hard that some of them I don't talk to. I had to let go for personal reasons, but it took me time to accept that you have to let this person go.
Yeah, it's come to an end.
Yeah, it's come to an end. So, yeah. So you said after?
Oh my gosh, this is so full. Like, just, this is jarring. I think this is the first time I'm hearing you say this.
Because I don't talk about it. No. Because I remember after we had the first kid, when myself and my husband were giving the testimony in church, and they wanted me to say something, I honestly was speechless, because I didn't think I was ready to talk about it. Even my business page, they don't know that I've gone through this.
Right.
This is the first time that I'm using my mouth openly
to speak about
it.
Oh, thank you. I guess BrewingHER people, you got the first gist, okay?
Because I just let my husband do the talking from his own experience. I think
we hear it more from his viewpoint. Yeah. This is the first time, because even the ones you're mentioning to me, when you say those things like, Gabby, I know you're just feeling like this is a joke. Let's go. But like hearing you actually saying all this deep stuff and serious stuff, this is the first time I'm hearing that from you.
Yeah, this is the first time I'm actually speaking out. And like I was saying before, my husband, he believes in let's have the kids quick, be done, and we're done.
Finish.
And I remember a few months after having, because he used to talk to his best friend about it, like, oh yeah, he wants to have his kids early and done. In my mind, I'm like,
You were still going through this, I guess, PTSD?
Yeah, I was. And even when I told him, okay, yeah, I'm okay now, I just said, okay, for him. I wasn't mentally ready.
Wow.
And I feel like we probably didn't get pregnant because God knew that I wasn't
mentally ready.
I wasn't there at all. So when we finally actually now got pregnant the second time, oh God.
Oh, really?
The fear.
This time too.
Yeah. When I found out, I remember how, if I tell you guys how I found out, it was funny. To tell you how I was not even serious about planning for a second child. And I went to see one of my friends and the daughter. I already bought my sanitaries, getting ready for the next period, to tell you that my brain was not even there. Mm-hmm. And I went to see a friend of mine and the daughter literally looked at me. She said, Auntie, there's a baby in your belly.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, baby, it's food. Auntie, just have... Auntie just has food in there. I know the belly looks big. Yeah. I didn't think. Even after she said it, literally my first response was food. And I laughed about it. But on my drive home, I was like, this girl has seen me, God knows, 100 times.
Why is he now?
Why is she telling me this? I tried to shake it off. And I got home, I was making my hair, and I just started running temperature. I became uneasy that night. I couldn't sleep. My body was just feeling weird.
Wow.
So I was like, you know what? Because I couldn't shake that statement off my head. Mm-hmm. So I took the first test, and the second line was not showing. I was like, oh, thank God.
You said thank God?
I literally was like, oh, thank God. Because the second line, I couldn't visually see it. Mm-hmm. But I guess I didn't wait long enough to actually. So I was like, oh, thank God. I just touched it, and then I went to bed. But I could not sleep that night.
Wow.
I was so restless. And then I woke up. Normally, my husband wakes up before me. I woke up before him. And then my spirit just kept on telling me, take another one, take another one. And then I took the one that either says pregnant, not pregnant.
Right.
And then it said pregnant. I was disappointed.
Are you for real?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a burst of happiness, like, oh my God.
Not like the first one. The first one. I called, it was my sister's birthday for the first one. My sister was the first person I called. I was like, happy birthday. And she was like,
because obviously you had not experienced all the things you experienced for the first time.
So, yeah. But the second one, I was like, well, I guess.
Oh my goodness.
I was happy because it's a thing of joy.
It's a thing of joy.
But then again, I was like,
yeah.
So I just put it beside my husband because he was still sleeping. And then I went to wake my little boy, and then he woke up. And then he already played with us, did everything. And we was about to start getting ready for work. And I was like, oh, babe, I left something for you in the bed. And then he went back, he checked, he hugged me. I was like,
man.
He was so happy. He was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. And in my mind, I'm like, has this man forgotten what we went through?
Yeah, oh my goodness.
But I tried to smile it off and everything. And I was telling my son, I showed him, stuff like that. And I was fine, but deep down, I even called my doctor. I was telling her like, oh yeah, this is it. I found out so day. When am I coming in? I'm so scared. I'm going to have this again. I remember the voice note I left her and everything, even messages on my chart. And then she was like, okay, just keep going. Let me know if anything changes and everything. And it didn't even take long.
For this HG to start again for the second pregnancy.
The moment I started losing appetite, and that was right after Christmas.
Right.
I just knew.
Right.
Deep down, like, here we go again.
Right. So the angle I had was we had already started BrewingHER. In fact, we were shooting
BrewingHER
one day.
That I called you and I was telling you like, oh, I think we should more episodes before. Remember, I was predicting this.
Yeah. I didn't think anything about what you said then. I just thought, oh, we still have time. Let's do
and I was like, girl, no, let's shoot.
Yeah.
Before, and she was like, we're fine.
Yeah. The moment it started, I was like, yep, we're on a break for about God knows. I don't want to mention it. I want you to say the time frame that it takes for you.
3 months.
Yeah. It takes your whole first trimester.
Was longer.
Like how many?
The first pregnancy, I think I was about 12 weeks or 10 to 12 weeks when I became better. This time I was about 15, 16 weeks.
Right.
And instead when I first started getting myself.
Right.
So it took longer this time. I don't know why.
That is in its own way amazing. But yeah, when you first started, to me, that was like, yeah, we're taking 3 months off. We can't do anything.
We can't do it, yo.
Yeah, because
and
I
I'm
know
glad we're able to shoot some videos before.
Yes. Oh, I mean, everything ended up working out for the work area, for the show.
Yeah.
But to me, I already like, because I know the process. I know what we went through the first time. But I want you to talk about what was different between you finding out for your first pregnancy and you finding out for your second pregnancy, like that. Okay, you have this AG thing again.
So, for the second one, I actually had more hope. Surprisingly, I was still cracking jokes. I didn't really cry because I knew that there was an end point.
So you kind of already got some sort of knowledge.
Exactly.
From
like
your
I already knew what was
experience.
going on.
Yeah.
I already knew that it's gonna end. And I think that kind of like affected me mentally too. When I already knew that, okay, 10 to 12 weeks, I start to feel better.
Yes.
And I remember I was counting that. There was a time we had a joke and I was like, oh, it's just
a few more
weeks, I'll be back.
Yeah.
And then the weeks were going by and I'm like,
it's not going on. What's going on?
What's happening?
But it only took about maybe a week or two after that.
He still did not just go.
I like that you said hope, because I feel like that's a difference when somebody is sick, right? My mom says this a lot. I heard it from her. When somebody is sick and you have not gone to the hospital to get a diagnosis of what's wrong with you, you don't know. You even feel sicker when you don't know what's going on with you, because your body is all over the place. You don't know what exactly is going on. Unlike when you've actually spoken to a doctor or a professional and they actually give you a diagnosis. Obviously not the terminal diagnosis, but I'm saying like you know how to treat it. It begins to affect your mental health in the sense that, okay, I'm gonna be fine. I'm good, you know.
It did a lot, because I remember one thing that I didn't want for this pregnancy was to look as bad as I looked for the first one.
Wow.
That's one thing I made, because if you remember, I was drinking a lot of Milo.
Right.
Even though I was puking the Milo, I was still drinking it. Because I was like, I don't want to look like a shadow of myself again. I don't want to look like that.
And that's why I felt like for your first pregnancy, which I think, talking about it now, I think fear played a part as well, because you were in uncertain waters. You didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
So I remember your husband always saying, just let me talk to her. She at least needs to put something in her mouth. Even if you puke it, take it in your mouth.
Take it.
So, but for you to say that for this second pregnancy, you were even the one motivating yourself that, let me just take it. Even if I'll puke it too. It's a difference.
Because remember during the Sprite episode, I was the one that told him to call you, because you told me you were coming.
Yeah. You knew you
would get me Sprite.
Yeah.
I knew I was still going to puke.
Yep.
I knew I've puked all day. There was even a time I told my mom, I want Abula. She cooked it and brought it. I was like, I don't want it again. Because by the time she brought it, I was already irritated and tired. So I was like, another day. So I didn't want my son to look at me and be like, is that my mom?
Yeah.
So I wanted to look like me.
You did a good job.
I was determined.
You did a good job for the second one. I feel like, and maybe what also helped is I even saw it in your husband too, was that he was, I guess, more relaxed for this one, because he probably also has gotten used to it. He knows what the drill is.
Yeah.
So he was more like, it's okay. It's going to be fine. It was
come
calmer.
out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was calmer. I feel like the day that the passing out thing happened, that was the first. I know your husband drives really fast.
Yo.
But that was the first time he drove.
Actually.
Bro, I thought we were going to have an accident before getting to the hospital.
Because that was my first time passing out.
Yeah.
That was my first time. So he was like,
calm down. It's okay. We're getting there. Please come. You could tell, like, he tries to put up a facade that everything is fine. But damn, my wife just collapsed.
Are you joking?
You better be moving. So kudos to you guys.
I remember you were sitting at my back, and you were trying to like hold me so that I don't.
It was a night. It was a night.
I was in and out, and then my dad called, and you spoke to my dad as well.
Yeah,
it was
your dad called from night. I'm sure it was like very early Nigeria time. That time he was like, because he thought it was you. I was like, Daddy, it's okay. We're just putting her in the hospital. Oh God. Oh, it's a whole journey. It's a whole journey, honestly. Okay, so moving on to our next question is, what are some of the main symptoms of aging? I think you've talked about nausea.
Are there loss of appetite.
Okay.
A lot of loss of appetite and nausea as well.
Right.
That's pretty much like
what you'll be going through every time. You just be puking.
You'll be puking
and you will not want to eat, obviously, because
you have zero energy.
Yeah. So it's different from morning sickness.
And then it's different. And then some days you're good. That's another
where
thing.
You can actually eat.
Well, really? Yeah. Some days you like, some days I would drink my my bottle of Milo.
Yeah.
And I'll put maybe 1 cup down. Some days
you can't even try it.
Yeah.
Can't even dare. Wow, that's crazy. Okay. So what are some potential causes? Do you know? Honestly, or risk? What are some of the things that make somebody
I don't know
experience that?
I honestly don't have an idea.
We need to
I don't think the doctors do either.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do. But
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So basically we've talked about when somebody is diagnosed, expect so and so. Mm-hmm. If you ever diagnosed.
No, there's something I didn't tell them.
Oh, really? What?
The PICC line can cause blood clot.
Oh my goodness.
Because I remember that's what happened in this one.
Oh.
So I had to get my PICC line twice. The first one they impute for me made me have. So what happened? Backstory. I had the PICC line, and then every time they pass like meds or try to flush it, my chest hurt.
Wow.
I kept on complaining. I'm hurting. My chest is hurting. I spent longer too in the hospital.
Oh, I remember now. That was when you were saying that mom was saying that they should remove it or something.
Yeah. So my mom was like, tell them to take it out, because my mom couldn't come because she was taking care of my son.
Yeah.
And she literally called my husband. She was like, when you go after work, tell her to remind her to tell the doctors and nurses they need to take off that thing. So they did series of ultrasounds, scans, and x-rays, and they were like, what is going on? So by the time they put another one in here, then they took this one out. And then my doctor came and she saw that. So the place where the medication goes, it could be 2 or 3.
Okay.
But the lady who put this one that was hurting me put 3.
Wow.
So it was heavier. She was like, this is too heavy for my size.
Wow.
So we don't know if that's what caused it. But long story short,
you don't know if that's what caused the blood clot?
Yeah, they don't know what caused it. But PICC line, one of the risks for PICC line is blood clot. We don't know what could cause it. So when they took it out, they now did like an mini ultrasound on this all the way here, and then they found the blood clot somewhere here.
Wow.
So I had to start taking a blood thinner. I still take it every day, twice a day. In my belly.
That's the medication that we were talking about that your husband became a doctor for now.
Yeah.
He's a medical doctor now.
Yep.
Because of that.
And that thing hurts.
And you have to take it every day.
Twice a day.
Twice.
Morning and night.
That is amazing. Do you know for how long?
Oh, yeah. Till after I give birth. I think about 6 weeks or 6 months after.
6 weeks or 6 months after. So you still have to keep taking this injection even after having a child? Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Like the needle entering my skin is not what hurts. It's the medication going into my body. That hurts.
I reserve my comments. I reserve it, honestly. That is, I keep saying amazing. It's just, my mind is blown, basically. Okay, so because this is a kind of, I wouldn't say very new, but relatively new, at least to our knowledge, right? What are some of the treatments that you know that are available for this?
So,
what are some of the treatments they give you?
So for me, like I said, because I'm pregnant, normally when a woman is pregnant, there's some medications they don't even bother giving you. And I actually forgot this. So one of the medication is Zofran.
Right.
But Zofran has a side effect that can make your heart rhythm irregular, especially when you take too much of it. I was obviously taking too much of it because I was on it 24/7, back to back. And there's another one, I can't remember the name right now, but that's not usually their first go-to.
Okay.
I think because it makes you sleepy. You literally sleep the whole day.
Wow.
Yeah. I can't remember the name right now.
Is it like a Zofran as well?
It also helps with medication. I think it's called, is it phenytoin?
With medication or with nausea?
It's medication for nausea, yeah.
Okay.
But it makes you literally, remember you came to the hospital one time? I was sleeping, yeah, because that was what they started giving me when they took off.
And that was because Zofran was no longer working.
It was not working, and I started having irregular heart rhythm.
Wow, that is
so crazy. They had to switch to the second one. I couldn't keep my eyes open. The moment I take it, 2 minutes,
you're gone. You're sleepy.
I'm sleepy too. The next time I need to take it, the moment I take it.
So I guess it's in a way they're regulating the nausea.
They're regulating because you'll be sleeping. You will literally, you feel like, it literally feels like hard drugs. You can't be awake.
Wow.
It's that bad. And the dose they were giving me was through my PICC line. So it was, you can't be awake. You literally you're going.
That is
amazing.
Okay, so that's some of the treatments.
Some of the treatments as well. And then for nutrients, they usually, especially if you're, so for PICC line, and another thing is I had a nurse that comes to check up on me at home when I'm not in the hospital. And that's because of my PICC line. They need to change the dressing because they won't let you go with a regular IV in your arm out of the hospital.
And PICC line is what feeds you.
So PICC line is what feeds my nutrient, my fat. So they check it I think it was once a week. So then, okay, she's lacking this. We need to switch this, give her, because at the time they were giving me just pure fat.
Wow. So make sure you gain the...
Because I started losing weight and I was in my second trimester as well. And my doctor was like, we can't let her be losing this much weight. So they switched me to just fat. It
feels like now they had a better treatment course for your second pregnancy. Because I feel like they've gotten... this
after me experience. I remember after me they told me they had two extra ladies,
so they've already done the research.
They already knew that, okay, this is what would help.
So in a way that helped you have a better experience too,
for the second
one. Okay, so I'm sure there are more treatments, but we're not doctors.
I'm pretty sure I read somewhere, I don't know if it's true, that they actually are looking for a treatment women should take to prevent it.
That would be dope.
Yeah.
That would be dope. Okay. Yeah. All right. Pending the time that, happens. If you're ever experiencing HG, by, nausea, like some of the things that Gabby has mentioned, or just lack of appetite, not just regular nausea. Pregnant women get nauseated, but when it's excessive to the point whereby there's nothing you put in that you don't want to puke out, right?
You don't even need to put anything inside. You're puking out.
You're puking out, right? At that point, we'll say, go get a doctor if you don't already have one, and start, maybe even tell them if they don't know what it is. What if it's HG? Have you heard about it? And these are some of the treatments that you can help with, and let them confirm and see how they can help you with it, right? So now let's move to the next question, right? So
the questions, no, they end.
They're not ending, because I want us to get all the details that we need to get, at least from you. And then if they have more questions, they can go out and do research as well. Yeah. So what are some practical tips that people can do to manage their daily life if they're going through this HG symptoms?
My love, it depends on your level of HG.
Oh, there are levels to this shit.
Some people have it for the whole pregnancy.
Wow.
Yeah, some people do have it for the whole pregnancy. Some people have it shorter. Some people stops at seconds.
You have it for a whole 9 months, and you will not eat. You will be puking, for 9 months. Wow.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine that. I can't imagine.
How I knew was when during the first one, after let me tell you a funny story. During the first one, I'm pretty sure you've heard the story.
Right.
When I started eating, I was in a hospital when I started eating, and then I called my husband. I was like, I want bread and butter.
Okay.
And he was like, okay. And like, okay, I'm going to bed. And I ended the call, and I actually went to sleep.
Without eating the bread and butter?
I just wanted, because I knew he was at work. I just wanted him to know that when you're coming,
buy bread and butter.
Come with bread and butter.
Yeah.
And then he came, I was sleeping. He's waited for a while for me to wake up. He didn't want to wake me up, and I didn't wake up, but he forgot the butter. Hey. So when I woke up in the middle of the night, I think it was around like 11 midnight or so thereabout, I saw my table. I saw the bread. I search. Emi butter. I called my nurse. I said, I'm sorry. Did my husband leave a butter with you guys? She was like, no, he just came and then he dropped something off and then he waited for a while. You were sleeping and then he left. I was like, can you? Because I wasn't with my phone. Because I couldn't stand phones.
At this point you were at the hospital? Yeah. Okay.
I couldn't stand phones as well. So I was like, can you call my husband to tell him to come back with my butter?
At 11 o'clock?
Yeah. They called. He was sleeping, but he picked up because his phone obviously was on ring. His wife is in the hospital. And then he said when he saw the nurse's call, he was like, oh God. He was so scared.
Yeah.
And she was like, your wife wants you to bring butter. And to him, it was like, huh? But he didn't even like be offended because all he could think of, she's eating.
Yes.
He ran back to the hospital with my butter. I ate my bread and butter. I slept. I called him again around, I think it was like 3 a.m. or something then, because he left my phone with me. And I was like, this is what I want for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Bruh, it's like, that's the switch. Gabby's back.
It was legit like a 360.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Why did I say that? Was when one of the doctors came to see me, and I think it was the nurse practitioner or the nurse manager, one of the two. She wanted to like check my dressing for the peak line and everything. And then she was like, oh, I'm so happy for you. You're so lucky. Some people have it the whole pregnancy. And I was like, you say?
What?
Yeah.
Say that again?
She said, some people have it for the whole pregnancy.
Oh, thank you for telling me now that I'm done. Because
if
you were still in the process.
If they had told me, I would have, off the baby.
If you know people who experience this for the whole pregnancy, please, I would like to know.
Yeah, me too.
How did you
cope? I think most of them probably were, because remember when I had that my peak line, I had energy a little bit. I wasn't really thinking of, I need to eat food.
Because you were getting the nutrients, but you couldn't eat anything. Mm-hmm. At some point, wouldn't you feel like, I miss?
You wouldn't miss it, trust me. You have no appetite.
Wow.
Food will be disgusting.
Wow.
That's why, remember when the first one I started eating, the first pregnancy, my husband's mother, when I called her, husband's auntie, and I called her, I was like, I want abula. She flew down from New Jersey.
From New Jersey. Can you imagine?
To make me...
Can you imagine? And
she brought this
abula.
Pregnancy, she even made, because speaking of the pando we were talking about, so after...
This is why, the last episode, we were talking about Gabby eating pando back to back. This is why Gabby eats pando, at least for the second pregnancy.
The moment I started eating, all I wanted was pando yam and efo.
That's amazing.
And trust me, they made sure that I was being supplied.
Yes, that's why we couldn't get angry, because like we were like, be eating your pando yam every morning, evening, and night.
Like I can wake up 8 a.m. in the morning, I'm eating pando.
Yeah.
It was shit.
Yeah. This is why it's like, okay, eat your pando. But now I feel like another thing I noticed with this pregnancy that I didn't see for the other one, which is I guess another method or another way to think like, okay, this is a better experience, is you cook a lot.
Yeah, this after became better. I don't know. I only have energy to cook.
Yeah.
Like even this podcast, I'm like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
She was like, we can do this.
She's legit sitting, no, but she's tired.
I'm tired.
But whenever she needs to cook, she has this burst of energy.
And the moment the food is done,
that's it.
I'm tired again.
That's amazing. I mean, I guess at least you're not going to starve.
Exactly.
So that's good. That's good. That's a good one.
I guess.
So that's how to deal with daily life.
So honestly, just like I said, it depends. Some people have it. Like, I had support. I had people around me. So it helped with my daily activities. I didn't really need to, especially with the second pregnancy. Oh, Mommy, I love you so much. I didn't really need to be thinking of my kid.
Yeah, because
that was more like my daily activity. I didn't need to think of him. And then my husband, he could
no
cook.
worries. Yeah,
he can clean. He can take care of me, him. And before my mom actually came to pick my son, he was taking care of me, my son, himself and the house.
And the home, yeah.
So daily activities, you will literally not be able to do almost nothing, to be honest. Wow. You won't have the strength, the energy to actually, you will just be puking.
Wow.
You won't have the strength to do anything. At least based on my own experience, I didn't have the energy to do nothing.
Another question that just came up to me now is, I think from what you've said, you were able to manage it a lot. Aside from the family and support that you got, you were also able to manage it with medical care. How expensive do you think all of that was? Because you feel what I'm saying? Like, what if you didn't have the access to medical care, like have the money to do all that?
Well, it is expensive.
I can imagine.
Because as I'm paying for hospital bill, I'm paying for the nurse coming to the house.
Yeah.
It is very expensive.
And to sleep in a bed
at
the hospital?
At the hospital.
For days? Like, you know? So just imagine people who don't have that financial capacity to do that.
I feel really sorry for them. Because it is very expensive, to be honest. It is very, 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 because we're in America, very
I can imagine.
Expensive. Even with insurance. Let me speak into the mic. Very expensive. I'm not even going to, I even feel it's even more expensive than giving birth, like childbirth.
Are you for real?
Yeah. This pregnancy, I spent longer in the hospital. I know how much you are still paying every month.
I can't even begin to fathom.
Yeah, it is very expensive. My first, I couldn't work.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, that's so true.
Remember, I was still working.
And then you had to stop working.
And I'm so glad, like, where I was working, they were so understandable. Like, they didn't stress me. They knew she's sick. There was nothing. They didn't stress me at all. I'm so grateful to them, honestly. Well, like I said, for daily activities, you honestly don't have the energy. You don't. But for me, I feel the only thing that I was doing, especially for both pregnancy, I had praise songs that goes in my head.
Praise songs.
So that kept me going a little bit. That was more like my activities that I, to me, was able to do. I just had that, some songs, just keeps.
Wow. So you've spoken about family help, support help, medical help, and now spiritual help.
Spiritual help, yeah. Like I said, there's sometimes that I'm too weak to even, I don't even want to pray. But this particular pregnancy, one song that just kept on coming is "My Daddy, My Daddy." Like even right now, singing it, I want to cry. But that song just always, like I kept, like even when I want to pray, I'm like, your baby is singing. I always say something, I'm God's favorite.
Of course, me too.
I always say that thing, and I see myself as I'm God's baby. So that song did not leave my mouth at all. Like in my head, I'm trying to sleep. That's the song that I literally would put me into the sleep.
Right.
Even in the hospital, it would literally just put me to the sleep. And another thing that I did in the hospital, I was always watching Food Channel.
Can you imagine? I remember coming one day, I'm like, this girl cannot eat.
And yet, it was just a form of encouragement for me, weirdly.
Really? Yeah. So it wasn't just like, oh, let's just put anything on the TV. It was intentional. Wow. I didn't think about that.
Form of an encouragement. So for activity, you honestly will not be able to do anything. The activities I feel like you should focus on more is your mind and your mental health.
Yeah. So basically, tips would be focusing on your mental health. Get enough support as much as you can.
Yeah.
Pray as well. There's nothing God cannot do. There's nothing He can't take away from you.
I heard a story it was on TikTok when this lady was sharing a story. She had HD and she lost a baby.
Yeah.
So
it's grace too to be able to go through all of that and still have a healthy baby and a healthy mom. So which prayer is also part of it. Like you need to pray about it. A lot of times we say, oh, what is prayer concerned about this one like this now? Yeah, but there's nothing too little or too big for prayers.
There is nothing.
So like Gabby has said, practical tips. Pray, have spiritual assistance, spiritual help. Get your family to support you if you have that.
If you have that.
Yeah. And then if you have the financial capability to go to the hospital and have medical care, also use that to support you. Because I believe that all this PICC line, Zofran pump, all this does helped in their ways as well to help you go through the 3 months that it existed. So
and that medical help your OBG too. If you have a good one that actually cares, it helps.
It does. It makes a difference.
It does.
It makes a huge difference.
When I started complaining of that chest pain,
bruh,
I remember the nursing director came to my room past 10 because I had a complaint earlier because I was sensitive to smell. And this nurse came in with this strong perfume. And she came into my room earlier. She was like, oh, your OB was just worried about your chest pain, just wanted to check on you. These are the things we were going to do. Imagine that's nursing director that came. So maybe my OB has shouts on the
like, excuse me.
Hey, what are you guys doing? So she gave me the things that we're going to do for the day, the tests and stuff, scan and ultrasound and x-rays and everything I was going to do for that day and everything. So she called in the middle of the night. She was like, I just wanted to know, I've seen your result. Your doctor's going to come talk to you, but did you get the same nurse that you complained about earlier? And I was like, yes, I did. She was like, oh, okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow. She ended the call. Before I knew it, my nurse was changed.
Wow. Kudos to good healthcare.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. That's really good.
Yeah. Even when I was complaining with so much pain, the nurse was like, we have to wait for your doctor's approval before we give you Tylenol.
Wow.
So if you have a good medical team behind you, it makes a difference.
It makes a difference. We can only pray and hope that everyone going through this has it easy one way or the other and gets grace to be able to carry it to term. Okay, so my last question.
Thank you, hallelujah, right? Hallelujah.
So my last question would be, what step can be taken to raise awareness about HG?
I feel one step for me is people who have it, who has had somebody that had it, should speak out.
Like we're doing right now.
Like what we're doing right now.
On BrewingHER. Everybody give it, in fact, a round of applause, you guys. Kudos to Gabby for actually agreeing to speak about it.
She has been on my neck.
Yeah, I think, like I always say, it only makes sense to share it and educate people about it. So yeah, give us your tips.
I feel, my number one tip for me would, people need to talk about it because like you said, it's not common. It's not something that actually, even like in smaller countries and other places, it's not something
underdeveloped countries.
Exactly. It's not something that a lot of people are aware of. But the sad thing now is like because the awareness is now known, there's a lot of cases starting to come up.
Right, because now people can put a name on, put a name to it.
So I feel to me that's so. And then another thing, I feel doctors as well, OBs, should let your patient know.
Educate people.
Like, you're pregnant, okay, like when you're having your first appointments, these are the things, like they give you medications to take, medications to not take, food to eat, and then also tell what to expect in case it start happening. So we are not like what's going on.
Yeah, you're not in uncertain water.
And in schools as well, I feel they need to also tell,
but I guess in schools, if you're talking about schools, they need to talk about more about pregnancies in general, because we don't get a lot of education about it until you go through it, and then you're like, oh, it was different from you. Oh, this is how it was. So I guess maybe because it's dicey too, but still, I feel like in the diciness, we should still be able to talk about how diverse people's experiences are.
Yeah, and I feel women in general should learn to love other women enough for us to share our own story.
Yeah. And Gabby, I think I would like to give kudos to our generation, because I feel like our generation were very much vocal. We're very vocal about things. Our experience, we don't have shame, basically, like, because our the older generations, they tend to hide stuff, because they're always like, oh, I don't want people to know what I'm going through. I don't want blah, 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 all those stuff. Even the topic I really want to talk about now is menopausal. Menopause, basically, because their older generations didn't talk a lot about it, and
they barely talk about pregnancy.
They barely talk about pregnancy. They don't talk about sex. They don't talk about this important, even finances. They don't talk about things like that. So in my head, I'm like, and sadly, schools don't really talk in detail. So what did you expect like that? But I feel like when their generation, let me say, passes, it's our turn now. They've passed the torch to us because we're the ones experiencing these things now. And I'm pretty sure when we get older to the point of menopause, we would have more stories on how to better handle it, how to better know what is going on. Because right now, their generation, people are still going through it, and you don't even know, the full in-depth of like how the thing affects people.
Like we said, for this HG, for example, we've known that, people throw up in pregnancy. Right. We didn't know that some of our aunties that we probably saw that were pregnant, some of them had this HG, and
you didn't know how, this was what it was. You just termed them like, you're just pregnant.
Sickness. Yeah, you're pregnant. Yeah. Normal.
Yeah, exactly. I think you were even the one that told me about sometimes miscarriages. Why it happens is because the baby
probably had a deformity, and your body just rejects. Because normally, if the body sees you being pregnant, like the baby as a foreign object, like that's is literally like a parasite. Like, okay, who are you?
This?
What's this? So if your body is rejecting some sort, like that negative thing, that's another story for another day.
Your blood cells will try to fight.
So but your body can see that, okay, this baby is not developing well,
it could lead to miscarriage. It could try to flush it out.
Yeah, like, so this is not meant to be here.
Exactly. So it just goes back to what I'm saying it, like, a lot of times it's because of this lack of education.
Yep.
So yeah, definitely.
Nigeria does say she's a winch.
Yeah.
She has chopped all our children. She's eating them. Like,
exactly.
It's normal.
Exactly. Another education part of this is also the men aspect of things too. Like, men generally don't go to the hospital, get checked and all that. So automatically, if there's a problem,
it's the woman, straight up.
I mean, it's the woman, Yeah. Meanwhile, men too
like,
have
even like
issues.
Antenatal in Nigeria, like, men don't really follow.
Men don't go. It's
way.
Almost like, one love for antenatal, and it's just
you just give money. I say, okay, go come.
Yeah.
But no, like, this generation.
No, we're going together, man. We're going to doctor's visits together. We're hearing the heartbeats together. We're, things like that. And I feel like, in a way, too, it would help us in this generation to become better educated about all this stuff. Yeah.
As I've always, as young as I was then, I've always said, if I'm pregnant, when I'm giving birth, I want 2 people in the room. My mom, my husband.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've talked about how that helped in our previous episode.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I think that's really deep. I think we've had a very deep conversation.
Yeah, probably
Gabby.
go cry after this, because I don't want to cry in front of you guys.
No. I think it's an emotional one, but because you have overcome it's a beautiful journey.
It is.
Like at the end of the day.
Oh my God, remember when we actually came back to shooting? We were so excited.
Like, because I honestly thought we were done. I'm sorry. I thought, you know what? It might not be, and for some reason, God just made a way. And that's why I give kudos to you for still being able to come to work, even when you are in this process, when you are going through this journey. It's not easy. When I'm pregnant, I don't know if I want to wake up.
I will drag you.
and do anything in the day.
I will drag you.
But we'll see. But it takes courage.
It does.
It takes
because
courage.
sometimes you just want to sleep.
Yeah. So yeah, get your accolades. Good job, mama. Good job. And to all the pregnant women out there, you guys are amazing. And if you're experiencing HG, keep at it. You're going to be better. You got it. Get all the medical care that you need. Get the family support that you need. Friends also. Any support group that can help you go through it mentally as well. And also be spiritual about it. Pray about it. I know that in Africa we pray a lot. But
really goes
I
a
mean,
long way.
Like Gabby said, you don't even have to be doing kabash.
You don't.
Even if it's just you and your God.
in your mind, you know.
Yeah. So
it really helps.
Yeah. We definitely hope that this episode has educated you one way or the other. Hopefully shed some light to some of the things that...
And it wasn't to know us better.
I feel like this is the most intimate we've gone on this podcast, right?
Yep.
I think this is the most intimate, actually. All right. Thank God that we did not cry. I'm
proud of us. Yeah, I tried. Like, there's so Thomas, I had to like pause. I'm like,
good job. You did well. You did amazing.
I'm not really a crybaby. I'm not like you now.
Wow, thank you very much. I take it with my full chest.
This is like I cry for ordinary movie.
You know, like just now, as you were about to like,
because sometimes that I would do like that, and I would look at you and I'm like, why is this one's eyes red already?
I'm like, I had to catch myself like, girl, calm down.
She just cry baby.
It's a lot. When my husband and I first started dating, but it was my boyfriend then. Every time I cry, it was always like, what's going on? Don't cry. He always hated to see me cry.
He's probably like,
it's just like,
is
crying again?
Why?
And it's just like, okay, because at this point it's like, I'm always crying. Like, it is I take it with my full chest. I own it. It's my full chest.
Cry baby.
Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for sticking with us through this episode. If you have not subscribed to our podcast, to our channel, please, what are you doing?
Something wrong.
What are you doing? Come on. Go and subscribe for more educative, more fun stuff from your girl Gabby and I. And we always come here every 2 weeks to, like, you know, spend some time with you guys.
Exactly.
Like Gabby will always say, we want to be your friends, you know. We are on Spotify. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google, any platform that you like to listen to your podcast on.
Even on YouTube, if you like television.
We are on YouTube
if you like to scroll on your phone. We are on Instagram.
Yes.
We are on TikTok.
Where else? You literally can find us everywhere.
Everywhere.
At BrewingHER Podcast.
You are in your face.
Yes. So if you haven't subscribed, please go subscribe and join the crew, you guys. We love you, and we will definitely come back to give you more good episodes, okay? All right, you guys, keep being beautiful. Bye.
Ciao.